All right, we're leaving Philadelphia, and we're heading down to North Carolina for the second major of the year, the PGA Championship from Quail Hollow. Guys, fairway to heaven, we are live, breaking it all down in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live here to talk about this week's second major of the PGA season, the PGA Championship from Quail Hollow. Guys, make sure you do me that favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe and share button. It's literally the only thing you can do today that will not cost you a penny. Just like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on Twitter, whichever Twitter page you're watching on, try to find the STT Sports Network and click subscribe there as well for me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm Phil Stiefel. We got Mr. Steven Fuentes, and we got Jason Sullivan, as always. Jason, what? Why is that not the only free thing you're going to do? Did you do something else today that was free? Or do you think it costs money to just hit that damn like button?
Listen, this is a family show. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Oh, okay.
Family show. Hey, everybody.
You know he's got the money. You know he's got the money. He just got the big win. He just got the big win with Sep.
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, before we get into this week's PGA Championship, we can spend a minute or two recapping last week's Truist Championship held here in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Steven was on the grounds on Sunday, burning like a carrot there, turning into a lobster. But yeah, I mean, it was funny because we had a Sepp Straka outright going head to head with a Shane Lowry outright. My best outright was freaking Tommy Fleetwood again, which never works out when you bet him. But Steven, real quick, what were your thoughts on the PGA Tour hosting their first event in Philadelphia in ever, basically?
The vibes all the way around were great. And it was, you could tell that it was a lot of people's first. You could tell that these sort of events, like on the PGA Tour, don't come around the Northeast that much. There was it was the fourth. Rory's ball came right around where we were, and the chaos that ensued. And it was just crazy to watch him call over to Tony and was like, Tony, you go ahead and go, because after I go, there's going to be commotion. And everyone kind of looked around at each other and was like, that was so cool. And it was like those little things. It kind of reminded me of being like at a state fair. Everyone was, you had your certain group you wanted to be with. Tough course. Just looking at it, I will never play on a course, one that looks like this, beautiful, but I mean, undulations everywhere, down and up. But even the golfers, it sounded like they had a good time, that, Philly put on a good show for them.
I mean, Jason, you're not a Philadelphia native. You don't live in Philadelphia. Your only connection to Philadelphia is myself and Steven. That's pretty much it. But, Philadelphia obviously gets a bad rap for our fans and our personalities. We're hardworking blue-collar people that shout and express our opinions very well. But it definitely seemed like, outside of excessive Eagles chants throughout the thing, the fan base was really well behaved, honestly. You didn't have to worry about, you would think with a bunch of drunk Philly fans, where you grease poles after championship parades and stuff like that. I don't even know if he knows what that means, Steven, greasing poles. Basically, they have to grease the poles in the city, I know. But, you would think, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, it gets so rowdy, they have to cut off beer sales. You didn't have to worry about that in Philadelphia. I mean, I think Philadelphia put its best foot forward, Jason.
And you heard guys, like big-name guys, just glowing reviews from them. Rory said something about it. JT said something about it. I think it was like Saturday that he mentioned it. And it's just a shame that, in general, that the Northeast just doesn't get golf tournaments. It's weird. You're talking New York, you're talking, Pennsylvania, like a lot of beautiful states where there's no golf. It's like the South gets a bunch, obviously, because it has to because of the weather. But like, it seemed like it was glowing reviews from everybody this week. So I'd like to see more golf.
It's something that I've preached for so long. And I've only played one or two of the private or higher end, courses in the Philadelphia region in my life, and but just the public courses in the Philadelphia region, there are quality public courses that you can host PGA Tour events at because they're that special. The Glen Mills course is one that just right off the top of my head, it's a huge course, and obviously it also does. If you guys don't know, the Glen Mills course actually raises money for like all the money, all the workers, and all the money raised goes to the school itself. It's a school for kids that get into trouble and stuff like that, and they make the kids work the course. They make the do the different things there, and it's like kind of a rehabilitation place for them. So you got a place like that, even that why wouldn't it? You got Ron Jaworski, one of the most famous football players and businessmen out there. He owns 7 golf courses in the Philadelphia region. They're all top notch and they're all public. There should be more golf in the Philadelphia area, and hopefully the way the Truist Championship played out, maybe obviously we got a Ronimick for the PGA Championship next year. Anybody looking for a golf, worker, I'll work for you, and for you or make content for you if you get me credentials to next year's PGA Championship. That's the deal. Let me know. My DMs are open.
You need to make like a poster, like a
wanted, help wanted.
Yeah.
To work for golf tickets.
Credentials. Hire me. Hopefully by the time Aronimick rolls around next year, Philadelphia region starts to see a little bit more, attention, for some of these courses or tournaments that have rotations on them.
It seemed like the course, I mean, like Steve said, he was there. Obviously, he saw it in person, but like on TV, it looked really beautiful, like a really beautiful course. And like you heard a lot of people say that they were trying to possibly get a major. Not sure if that'll happen just because of the length of the course, but I feel like
yeah.
And in that location, it didn't look like you. Sometimes you'll see courses find extra room to lengthen a course for a major. It didn't look like there was room to make it longer.
And you could put extra room, but I mean, like that was a 7,100 yard course. I mean, like you need to be like.
I mean, it had the shortest hole in PGA history,
a
95-yard hole. I mean, that says it there. Anyway, it was a great week. Obviously, Sepp Straka won again. I was shocked when I heard that we had a Sepp versus Lowry battle going on. That it wasn't Steven that had Sepp Straka on his card, but it was Jason.
Oh, you know how I feel.
Steven is the Sepp guy right there, right?
I'm a Sepp guy too. I've been a Sepp guy for a long time. I love Sepp. I bet
that's called the unknown. The unknown of this course would get to him, but that shot on 18 out of the bunker was incredible. Sealed the deal, really.
It's funny when you watch him play too, because like I know he's like we think he's young, but he's in his 30s. I think he's like 33 or something like that. It's kind of amazing when you watch his game and how good he is with the irons that he hasn't won more. Like I know he's got a few the past few years, but like dude's a really good golfer.
Yeah, he's absolutely a really good golfer, and you know what? He's going to be a popular.
He's going to be Will Sasso.
Who?
With the shaved head, he kind of looks like Will Sasso a little bit.
Obviously, he's going to be a popular play and pick this week as well. As we head down to the Wells Fargo, the Quail Hollow, normally the home of the Wells Fargo, this year the home of the PGA Championship. Last time the PGA Championship was hosted here at Quail Hollow was in 2017. This is like one of those courses. It's really funny. They're getting a ton of rain yesterday, today, and even tomorrow. It's supposed to be pretty dry this weekend, very hot this weekend. But this is one of those courses where some of the guys on tour, like a Sepp Straka or Rory McIlroy, who's been around, the PGA Tour for a very long time, they don't even need the practice because this course is a regular fixture of regulars and major events for a very long time. So, Jason, what are the golfers looking at Quail Hollow this week, and what's this course going to play like after we've seen the videos? A lot of rain in the last 48 hours.
Sounds like you said too, rain tomorrow and then possibly Saturday too, thunderstorms. So a lot of rain coming. It's going to be really wet, which is going to play into the narrative. The kind of the going narrative right now is bombers anyway. So now you're going to see it even more with less rollout. You're going to see guys like Rory and Bryson's ownership go just through the roof. It's a super long course, 7,626 yards, par 71, Poa, Trivialis, overseed greens. 4 water hazards on the course affecting 7 holes, 61 bunkers. The one thing to note about this tournament compared to some of the other ones is it's going to be top 70 and ties are going to make the cut. So basically 63% of the people in the field make the cut.
Okay, that's a good piece. I know we're going to talk a lot about distance, and I think with the rain, distance is going to become a bigger factor. But I saw, and I say this every single week, I got to do a better job of writing where I get these notes down. But I saw on Twitter, I saw an interesting that in 2017, when the PGA Championship was hosted here last, okay? And won by Justin Thomas, who hits the ball, plenty far to combat the distance. In 2017, there's a 3-way tie for second place. Patrick Reed, Francisco Molinari, and Louis Oosthuizen. All three of them lost strokes to the field in driving distance. So while distance matters, and a 7,600 plus yard, almost 7,700 yard course that's played as a par 71, not a par 72, distance definitely matters. But if you're a grinder and you're great with your approach, you're great with your irons, you still have a chance here. So I want people to realize, maybe to help lower Bryson's ownership a little bit for my sake, that, understand that distance will matter, but you can actually contend here without distance.
You know what matters too? Putting a lot. I mean, Oosthuizen and Reed are two of the better putters you're ever going to see on the tour. Not so much Molinari, but the other guys. I mean, you got to hit it far and you got to make putts here. That's going to be the name of the game.
Steven, obviously it's going to play super difficult, and I'm sure they're making it more complex for a major championship versus the regular week at the Wells Fargo. But, can you really rely on Wells Fargo championship knowledge like I am to kind of build out your player pool, to make your betting card? Are you looking at the last couple of years at the Wells Fargo championship?
Excuse me. I think because some of these guys aren't going to have much time to practice, you have to a little bit, just because of not having those few rounds. There's going to be some of these guys who are getting their first time at it from a PGA Championship point of view. So I think that you have to take that into consideration. The one thing that I was thinking of too with the weather is this rough going to play different than previous years? Are they going to let it grow out? Is the rain going to affect how thick it actually gets, especially on the weekend? If it's going to get hot Saturday to Sunday, that rough could play completely different overnight. So guys who can play out of the rough is going to be huge here.
What was that? Where's the stat here? I'm looking at it as a PGA Championship. I'm looking at it as an event where 20 under, 18 under doesn't typically happen. But we've seen a trend over the last couple of years in golf that lower and lower numbers tend to be winning these events. But we don't see that typically at a PGA Championship or a U.S. Open. They typically do stay as, close to single digits under par as possible. 5 of the last 7 years here, the winners have been at the Wells Fargo on 12 under or a lower number than that. Jason, with the way it's going to play, as long as it's going to play, along with the rain making it even longer, I would kind of ballpark, we're almost looking at a 7,800 yard course Thursday and Friday with the rain. Yeah. What kind of a winning score you think are we looking at this week?
I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to play as tough as we think it's going to play. That's kind of what I was gathering as I was going on. I think it's going to
be. So explain that. Why?
I just think that part of what makes this course so tough is if it's firm and fast, and we're going to see it slow down. So yeah, it's going to play longer, which is tough. But you're going to see a lot of guys like Neiman comes to mind, like a guy that is usually good on approach, but hits the ball a little bit lower. So his balls here would fly off the greens if it was playing firm and fast. Whereas if it's not playing firm and fast, he might be in play this week. So I just think that it's not going to be quite as difficult as people think it's going to be. I think I'm going to say between 12 under to 15 under winning score.
Gotcha. Steven, where are you at with that?
I have the winning score being 10 under. I think that
I'm in that 10 to 13 under range as well. Okay. I think it really depends because that Saturday rain is something new that just cropped up. 2 days ago when I started researching, there was no Saturday rain. It was just going to be extra hot, and I was thinking super long and soft on Thursday and Friday, and super fast and firm on Saturday and Sunday. And let's just dive right into the field here because I think there's a lot of narratives. Obviously, Rory winning the Masters, Scottie being the world number one, Spieth looking for his, career Grand Slam. But when you talk about firm and fast, long and soft, the name that I think is going to be the highest owned, he's probably the most bet guy. His numbers gone from, I saw my man Chris Ebom get him at 24-1 like a while ago. He's down to 6-7-1 on some sports books now. Bryson DeChambeau, obviously from Live, this course, the way it's going to play, and the fact that he's a big game player in all major events normally, why is Bryson DeChambeau he's not the odds-on favorite, but he's the talking favorite to win this event?
Go ahead,
Steven.
I just think the distance and what he's done on Live since the Masters, it wasn't like he just spikes at these major events or he hasn't been doing anything on Live. He is if playing on PGA Tour, he would have wins. He would be able to compete with these guys. And I think his driving ability is going to set him apart on this course. And he's played well on this course before. So I think that's really what sets him apart from
his last 5 events between Live and the Masters: 5th, 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 2nd, 1st. That's 5 straight top 5s, including a win. That's pretty good. Jason, I don't know. I think you bet him just like me.
Yeah.
But is there an argument to be made not to be invested as heavily as most people are going to be in Bryson? Because I don't think there's an argument that can be made. I think he's kind of one of those guys that, I think he's going to be 32, 35% owned in a 155-person field with a 5K and a 13K range. Like, I still think he's going to be the highest owned guy this week.
I do too. I think he's going to be the highest owned by a lot.
Yeah.
I think the only argument,
very large margin.
The only to not play him, the only argument is I think he's actually going to get to like 40% because you can make lineups that start with Rory and Bryson. You could start with Bryson and go down to the 9K. Like the pricing is soft enough that you can pretty much do what you want to do. You could play Scottie and Bryson even. Like, yes, it's tough, but
if you pay Scottie, it still leaves you with over 72 or 7,300.
You could still do that, but I don't know. He fits. It's hard to argue against him. I don't have a point to argue against him. I mean, like Steve said, just his distance off the tee, his carry distance off the tee. He's also the 9th best putter in this field over the last 36 rounds. So, like, you're seeing a guy that can, like, the two we said, putting and off the tee, and he does awesome at both.
And how about his short game as well? Is like around the green, is scrambling. I don't know if there's a more creative guy, golfer right now on the planet. Like, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for the way he handles his chip shots, his pitch shots, his shots out of bunkers, whatnot. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. But again, you said he might get the 40, and I kind of thought that earlier, and I'm like, I don't know. There's 160 golfers almost in this field. There's no way anybody will get that high, but it's kind of trending in that direction.
Scottie's creeping up a little bit. I think that's something to watch. I think when the first ownership numbers came out yesterday, I started to look at it, and Scottie was down to like 15%. I'm like, geez, that's going to be a slam dunk play if he's 15%. You're seeing him up like 23 now. I think Scottie gets to like 30, which kind of levels out the top 3 a little bit. I still think he's the least owned Scottie of the 3, and I think Bryson's the highest owned. But I mean, it's hard to argue. I feel like one of these guys is going to win, and it's just hard to not play these guys.
All right, so let's talk. Well, before we it's funny. I want to save Scottie for third out of these top guys because Rory is coming off his Masters championship. Right. He completed the career Grand Slam. He's won a PGA Championship, obviously before. He's won 4 Wells Fargo events at this course. He's got 1, 2, 3 wins since February. I mean, this guy's playing, other world. Rory's playing like Scottie did last year, basically.
Yep.
But Rory's the second talk of the town behind Bryson this week because of it. Is there an argument to be made, Steven, to fade Bryson and go extra heavy on Rory instead? Or is it that hard to win 2 majors in a row? And I don't care how good you're playing, you can't win 2 majors in a row.
I think when you're Rory McIlroy, I mean, you're in conversation to be able to do that, right? Okay. I think if this was, Morikawa, who had won the Masters, I don't think we're talking about him as a favorite in probably any other major or in any conversation, in any major going forward. But I think how free he's playing, this course, like you said, 4 wins here, and I don't see a hole in his game right now. And now he's going after something. I've said it in previous shows. He's going after now the single season,
Yeah.
Grand Slam. So why not?
And he's kind of good enough
price,
to do that, right?
At that price. Oh, absolutely. At that price, to still be that much less than Scottie is crazy to me a little bit.
You brought
up, I real quick, you guys talking about ownership, and I've been talking about lately on fantasynational.com, who we use them to build our models and talk ownership percentage, to start looking at the actual lineup generator percentage versus calculated ownership. Before the show started, Bryson was projected in actually 35% of lineups. He's gone down to 29%, and Rory has now surpassed him up to over 35% used in lineup generators so far. So there might be a swing going Rory's way because of the Bryson hype. Jason, go ahead.
Well, I think because of the Bryson hype, people are going to talk themselves out of him. But I also think, like Steve said, he brought up the best point, I think, is just like the weight off of his shoulders. Like, he's playing free now, which is scary because these next 3 majors set up better for him than Augusta did. So now that he got that big, huge weight off of his shoulders, winning the green jacket and winning for the first time in 10 years or whatever for a major, it's like these next 3 set up better than the first one. So it's scary. It's hard. You can't go wrong on any of these guys. And if you're going to play the Scottie narrative, I think Scottie's my least favorite, which is funny because his track record at PGA Championships is hilarious. Like, they're all top 10s. But I feel like you can't argue against any of these guys. You really can't.
I was just looking. He's actually never played here at Quail Hollow.
Well, no, he never has.
Scottie Scheffler. It's funny when, the world number 1, Scottie Scheffler, arguably the best player in the world, is the third name we want to talk about.
But look at his the last 5 times he's played the PGA Championship. T8, T2, cut, T8, T4.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and who's a better hitter of the golf ball off the tee and on approach? Basically the best tee to green player in the world, which you're going to need to be good at here. He's got the distance. He's got the control. I made it a point when I've got 8 lineups I've entered. I've built 5 of the lineups so far. I made sure that Scottie, Rory, and Bryson were each in at least one. Now I'm going to go a little heavier overall when all's said and done on Bryson, but I'm making sure I get a little leverage on 3 because realistically speaking, in my mind, there are guys I've bet and you guys have bet. There are guys I think that could win this event, but realistically, when it comes down to it, it's Rory, it's Scottie, or it's Bryson, and that's it in this event.
I think Xander could.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look then at that rest of the top
4
10K.
people.
Right. Yeah, there's 4 other names in the 10K range. Oberg, Xander, who's the defending champion with the most boring dinner menu of all time. Colin Morikawa and John Rahm, who is getting a little flack with, how he's been overall this year in general. So you make the case for Xander then, Steven, if you think Xander's got it.
Just trending in the right direction. And at the price, I think you can argue that alone. But I think those 4 guys have everything that you would need in a formula to win, especially here, right? Doesn't matter experience, doesn't matter if Xander's, trying to go back to back. I think Xander, Bryson, Scottie, and Rory, or you can't go wrong if you want to start any of your lineups with that. It really then bases on what you want to do with the rest of them. And I think to go back to Rory for one more thing, is another motivation of his to be, I want to be the world number 1 again.
Yeah.
I'm sick of,
he's still got a long way to go, but
yeah, but you have to, how big would it be to have a season that Scottie just had last year for Rory to come out and to be like, well, watch this now. Okay.
Yeah.
To do something. Yeah. I mean, it would be crazy, but I think to go back to Xander, 11th at the Truist, 18th at RBC, 8th at the Master. I mean, since the injury, you've seen tournament after tournament. Exactly. And so, I mean, why not? Right. I think he is well more than capable.
Yep. Rashad talking about Scottie not having experience at this course.
Great.
It's a great point, and that's also why I'm off on Ludwig Oberg this week, because he's never played this course as well. And with the rain, not everybody's as a psycho as Hideki out there practicing in a torrential. the hard stuff ain't gonna come for another hour or two. That's what he's telling his caddy out there.
The guy that can't putts out there putting in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. Because that putting surface in torrential downpours is going to be exactly what he sees on Thursday or Friday. Go ahead, Jason.
I think that's a great point, though, about Scottie. Is like it's not that he didn't play Wells Fargo because he didn't want to or it didn't fit his game or anything like that. He just plays Texas because he's from Texas. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for him with the way that the schedule is to play a bunch in Texas. That this has just been his off week, Wells Fargo usually. So I don't read too much into
Stay
that.
at home.
Yeah, I agree with his point. Like, I mean, with Rashad's point, I think that if he had played here before, if he saw like a T2 and a T8, he'd be like, oh, Scottie's a great play this week. So I agree with that completely. It's funny. So you named your 4. I think the 5th guy that you could throw in there that could win would be JT. I just think his game is dialed in. The off the tee game, I think you can argue he still sprained it everywhere, which worries me a little bit. But I feel like the way he's playing right now and how locked in that his approach game has been and his irons have been awesome lately. I just feel like he's putting better too, which is a huge thing. So I think JT would be the 5th one.
You can make an argument that Justin Thomas is underpriced at 9,900 and that John Rahm at 10-2. You should be at a minimum. Honestly, I could say that Justin Thomas should be higher priced than Rahm and Colin Morikawa at this point. And I know Morikawa is a PGA champion in his own right, but at this point, JT's current form should and they come up with the pricing a couple of weeks early, but I kind of feel like that's the way it should be.
Do you guys have any interest in single-digit owned Rahm, single-digit owned Morikawa, Aberg? Do you guys have any interest in any of those 3?
Aberg, no.
Maybe
John
Morikawa.
Rahm, I have some interest in. I'm a little confused. I mean, he's literally been top 10 in every event on Live this year, and the only time he hasn't finished top 10 was at the Masters, and that was still a pretty solid fit. Like, he backdoored his way to that top 20 there. But I think John Rahm, and I'll throw Brooks Koepka in there. Those 2 Live guys are guys. I mean, I know Brooks Koepka's ownership's way low, and I know you love Brooks in a major situation, but I don't care. Brooks Koepka's game is horrendous right now, and it's been a long time since he's looked good outside of that PGA Championship in 23. Now, I'm not interested in John Rahm this week, and Oberg, I think will win a PGA Championship. I just don't think it's this week. Steven?
No, I after seeing him last week on a course that he didn't know again, I just think that these are learning years for him, right? Everyone knows he's going to go and have himself a career. I just, like you said, I don't see it being this weekend.
So in this 9K range, we've started talking about it. We already talked about Justin Thomas. Brooks Koepka, like I said, been terrible on Live this year by his standards. Neiman, we've already mentioned his name. Hideki, Jordan Spieth is going for his, career grand slam, so to speak, and Victor Hovland's. There's a lot of names in this range, and I think there's an argument to be made for each and every one of these names for and against them. So we'll start with you, Jason. Give me a name you want to make an argument that you should be playing or betting, and maybe give me a name that you should stay away from.
Victor Hovland. I just like him on this style of course. Just a really good long iron player, and like he this just screams to me. Obviously, he hasn't been as good as he was a couple years ago, but like when he's going, this seems like the perfect kind of course for him. A long course around the green, maybe he struggles a little bit, but I feel like he just seems like a guy that could easily win this week. I don't think there's a lot of guys in this range that you can say that for. For my do not play, there's not even, I don't really have stats. This is more of a narrative, but like, at what point do people start getting off the Cantley train? Like, and I feel like I'm included in this because I fall for him all the time. But like, this dude just does not win golf tournaments, and especially he's not going to win this kind of a golf tournament. So I don't know. I just wonder about him a little bit. What do you guys think about?
I mean, Cantley finished 4th last week. I mean, his around the green game. I want to check out his last 2 events at the Wells Fargo, 21st and 29th, and I want to see if he played here in 17. He did make the cut here in 2017, finishing 33rd. I think you can make an argument to play Cantley in DFS, but especially considering he might only be like 10 or 11%. I'd rather a 10, 11% Patrick Cantlay over a 8 to 10% John Rahm. But that's it. And that's in small doses. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Patrick Cantlay has no real true win equity really in this event, does he?
No. And I don't mind him though. Back-to-back weeks at 9,500. I think if he was in the tens, yeah, I would be like, whoa, like, yeah, no, I'm not even going to play him in DFS. But I think he's a solid, top 10 bet and a solid DFS play in this 9K range. He's not going to go out and win you anything because he doesn't have that fire, really. I feel like he just goes out there and is like, I'm going to go play 4 days and I'm going to do what I do and I'm going to get some. I'm not really going to bogey too much. I'm going to drive it real after green and be good to go. On to the next week. Yeah.
I think you can make arguments to play Shane Lowry and Tommy Fleetwood as well in DFS aspects. But obviously, because of Rory completing his career Grand Slam, Jordan Spieth is a lot of talk because now he's the next guy up to complete his career Grand Slam. And I hate the narrative that he's got to match Rory to do it. But he did talk about how now he feels the pressure that he's got to do it. And while I don't love Spieth's game, if Rory could do it, why can't Spieth? And Spieth hasn't been perfect, but if the weather stays warm this weekend, George Spieth's won how many majors? And I bet him 60-1 to win this event. Not because I like it, because Jordan Spieth has won the other 3 majors in his career, and he's 60-1. You know what I mean? Like, the only argument I can make to play or bet Spieth is that Spieth shouldn't be 60-1 to win a major championship. You know what I mean? Like, that number doesn't translate to me. So I can make that argument to bet him, small little portion, but, what do you think of the Jordan Spieth narrative, Jason?
Not at this course for me. I just feel like he's better off the tee, which is weird to say, but he's been horrible with the irons. I mean, he's lost with his approach. I think it's like 8 out of 12 events or something like that. He's just not a good approach player anymore. And like that used to be his bread and butter, was the iron game, the crazy scrambling. He was so good around the greens. It's like it's kind of changed. He's turned into like almost like a Bryson, which is weird. But it's hard for me to get on him on this course. I just want to see him be in contention a little bit more. I think we saw him finish second a couple weeks ago, but like he really hasn't been in contention for a golf tournament in a long time. So it's a no for me. I just think going down to, like you said, Fleetwood or Lowry, which I'm starting to feel bad for Lowry too at this point. Like this dude has finished his second, it seems like, more than anybody in big tournaments. So, but I'd rather play those.
I think that 7 to 12% range that Lowry and Fleetwood are going to fall in ownership wise is way too low. Like I don't think either of them go. There's zero chance in my mind that those two guys win this event. But if you're going to talk about 7 to 10% Fleetwood or 7 to 10% Lowry on a course that you're going to have to grind out a low score, I think they're two perfect plays, Steve.
You're talking top 7-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, like, or higher for each of them.
I like the motivation, right, for Spieth, but what Jason said, it's the approach play that bothers me. And on this course, it's the last 5 times here, the average approach is 183 yards, where on the average for every other place on tour is 17 yards shorter. So if this place is playing long and he's struggling in that area, I just don't think this is the course for him. I actually am on Joaquin Niemann. I'm thinking the opposite of what I think a lot of people are, is this guy's a stud in every category and on every single sort of event except majors. And when is he gonna break that sort of snide? And I think he could go win here. He's won multiple times on Live, in big events. I think he did pretty well in the Masters. I think he's one of my guys that I have in the 9K range.
Go ahead, Jason.
Can I piggyback that real quick? I think I'm on him too. His only knock is he's never been good in majors, but he's still a relatively young guy.
What is this week? It's a major.
I know. Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. He hits the ball extremely long and extremely straight, which helps the cause. Low ball flight, which bad. Like I said earlier, if the greens are firm and fast, that's bad. Mm-hmm. If the greens are not firm and fast and it rains a lot, he's talented. I think of the Live guys this week, besides Bryson, he's the most live to win besides Bryson.
I like him better than John.
I disagree.
wrong.
I think you could go into the 8K range and get better value with Patrick Reed this week than Joakim Niemann.
Oh yeah. You have no argument for me there. You got
two
no
names
argument
in
for me
that
there.
8K range that I think not enough people are talking about. One being Patrick Reed. If you want to just talk live, I think Patrick Reed is playing phenomenal golf, and at 8,100 is actually underpriced. I can't get off of Brooks Koepka and Neiman and how they've performed in majors recently, and actually get invested in those two guys.
You could make a case for Hatton too. I think another live guy.
Yeah, you can. You can make a case. Yeah. For some reason, I just never get myself
because he's so unlikable.
Well, Patrick Reed's not likable, and I love me some Patrick Reed.
Right. I love Patrick,
but that's
Reed,
a different subject.
So
I think there's two names in the 8K range. There's a couple names in the 8K range I like, but there's two names. One's getting a lot of talk, and that's Patrick Reed, even though his ownership's not too high at this point. And I think there's another name in this 8K range. I want to know, Jason, if you could guess this name that I really like a lot as a DFS play. His ownership's pretty low. Everything we've talked about this course, there's a name that I really like in this 8K range.
Justin Rose.
No. Min-Woo Lee.
Yes.
You like Min-Woo Lee this week? Because I actually love myself some Min-Woo Lee in a DFS perspective this week. I don't think he can win this event.
He's kind of got the exact qualities, though, that we're looking for a dude that can rip it off the tee. And
Exactly. The only downside to him is he's never played this golf course. But if 65% of the people make the cut this weekend, Min-Woo Lee's going to be one of those guys. And if he's 6% owned and say Saturday or Sunday gets really firm and fast and he starts ripping the ball down the fairway, Min-Woo Lee's a guy that can finish top 20 easily this week.
This is kind of the forgotten range, too. I feel like if you want to get a little bit different, I feel like maybe playing two guys in this range, like playing like Min-Woo and Patrick Reed or something like that. I feel like this area. Is this the West bracket on March Madness here? I got so excited I couldn't even think of what to say. No, I just feel like this area is going to get overlooked because so many guys are loading up at the top. That
on Bryson and on Rory and Scottie. You kind of have to skip the 8K range.
Yeah, even like a Zalatoris is kind of interesting to me too. It's like if you could hit on one or two of these guys, you could be really different in this range.
Yeah. I mean, Min-Woo Lee's right now 5 to 7% projections. Patrick Reed's 10, 11, 12%. Corey Connors is getting a lot of love at 15%. And where is Will Zalatoris is like 3%.
I mean, a little different and playing somewhat balanced this week might be a play. I'm not saying fade the top guys because that's stupid, but like maybe playing like, I don't know, playing like Bryson and then going down to the 8Ks and kind of like living in that region. I keep saying region. Range?
Or I mean, we're going to get to it.
Very professional.
And, maybe you play a Bryson or a Rory or a Scottie and you mix in a 5K guy. I mean, a guy, I don't want to get into the 5K
There's a few of them.
But you got like a Tom Hoagie who, in theory, he's a good iron player. You get creative like that, and then you play a guy like Patrick Reed or Min-Woo Lee, and the point is when this many golfers are in the field is to find a way to differentiate yourself. That's one of the ways to do it. Sepp Straka's here as well. Thoughts on Sepp Straka, guys? Jason, since you just hit on him, following up his big signature victory, following that up and playing in a major event. Thoughts on Sepp Straka?
I wanted to be on him this week. He had a 7th at a PGA. Like, he just hasn't had a lot of success at PGAs in general. I just feel like his strength is on shorter courses a little bit, so I don't love him this week at all. But I feel like, obviously he's probably more talented than everybody in this range. So.
He's missed 3 of the last 5 cuts at this course, and he missed last year's cut at the PGA Championship.
Too long for him.
Yeah, too long for him. So I'm personally off of Sepp. I also don't like the idea of him, winning on tour and winning a signature event on tour. That's 2 totally different ball games. So I don't like the follow-up there. From him, Rashad says, I feel like this week you could win a GPP without having one of the top guys if they win. 6-6 with 4 guys in the top 15. I like that theory. I really do. And like I said, I built 5 lineups so far, and one of the lineups doesn't have anybody. One of the lineups has Hideki as my highest priced guy in it. So there are ways to get different this week and still
And that's where
maybe win a GPP.
That's where I think like so many people are going to stack two of the top guys. Maybe not necessarily over 10,000, but like maybe like
Just
Rory and
scroll
JT.
straight to the bottom.
Yeah. It's like if you could just get 6 guys that make the cut, you're going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a look at the 7K range. Lots and lots of names with this many people in the field. The first bet I made literally like 6 weeks ago, I had a free bet on Fanatic Sportsbook. And if you guys aren't using Fanatic Sportsbook, check them out. I got a link down below for a referral link. Better odds on Fanatic Sportsbook than DraftKings, hands down, was Daniel Berger. I had a free bet, 120 to 1. You'll remember, Jason, when we first started doing this, before he got hurt, I predicted that Daniel Berger would win a PGA Championship.
Yep. And
he's healthy. He's playing good golf. I don't know if necessarily he's long enough for this course, but his iron game's definitely good enough. But he's going to be a very chalky play at the top of the 7K range here, which is loaded with names. Where do you go, Jason, in the 7K range?
It's hard. I like Berger.
Really hard.
I don't think he's going to be that chalky. I think like 13, 14%, which I'm not that worried about that. I mean, the dude just like quietly.
Kind of shocked the numbers that low. I kind of think it'll get closer to 15%.
You don't even like see him on the broadcast. And then you just look and it's like another T10, another T15. It's like, dude's been awesome lately. But my two favorites in this range, this is weird to say, but I like Sam Burns. I feel like he's kind of coming around a little bit. He's good on long courses. And obviously we know what he can do with the putter. So I like him a little bit this week. And I think Finau's kind of starting to like show a little bit. And I feel like it's $7,400.
Baby steps.
Yeah, that's way too low of a price for a dude that can contend. I don't think he can win, but can contend. So Finau and Burns are my two favorites.
Always love Sam Burns on tough courses. Sam Burns is a tough course genius right there.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, it really is. Steven, where are you looking at in this range?
I like Berger because I like him, like you said, the long irons from 200, where you're going to need to be in that. You need to be able to hit that 175, 200 approach shot. So I think he's got that tool in his bag. I think Keegan, for the same exact reasons. I think the putter is going to be the one thing that will keep him from being able to win. But you hit on him a little bit last week in Max Homa. Why not? With the way he's his trajectory right now, he's another one of those guys who's switched something up in his game, and it has seemed to work. And at Max Homa's list of guys, Phil has said is going to do.
There's another reason to throw Homa's name in there. There is. Do you know what the other reason is? He's won a golf tournament on this very course.
Yeah,
he's a former Wells Fargo champion. So is Wyndham Clark. We didn't mention the 8K. So is Jason Day. Max Homa has won here. And there's going to be a lot of golfers that aren't getting the work in that they need. Max Homa knows this place. I love that you mentioned Max Homa. I haven't clicked on, he's on my list. I haven't clicked on him yet. But, Max Homa is a viable option this week, Jason.
You know how we feel about Sepp Straka, Steve? That's how Phil feels about Max Homa. Like it's just,
and it's only growing more and more each week.
Dude, I don't know. I'm ballparking this. I think I've had 20 outrights in 4 years. I think 3 or 4 of them have been Max Homa wins. So Max Homa is my guy. I am not predicting Max Homa to win this week, just so you know. Not predicting it.
You play Max Homa.
I like him because he's made me more money than any other golfer on the PGA Tour.
And you play Max Homa on Max Homa courses. It's like Bubba back in the day. Yeah. Bubba had like 5 courses that you played him on. It's like Max Homa.
Yeah. I actually have only 3 names on I have 25 names that I'm going to play in lineups this week. Only 3 in the 7K range because I'm staying away from the 7K range and I'm going to use the 6K range to get different so I could play more 8K guys. But you guys mentioned Berger and Keegan. I like Keegan Bradley this week as well, although maybe he was a little distracted having to host a dinner for, all his U.S. counterparts and trying to get Brooks and Bryson on board and all. But no, I like Keegan. I like Akshay Bhatia as well this week.
Me too.
Not necessarily the longest hitter, but again, we talked about him with the Masters. The creativity in his game, if he's got it, it's going to be an 8-9 under game score, 10 under, 12 under. He's going to have to get creative around the greens. He's going to have to get creative with his chip shots and his wedge shots. I like hitting out of the rough, whatever it may be. I do like Bhatia this week to have a top 20 potential finish.
Good putter, not afraid of the moment.
Deep, too.
Definitely not afraid of the moment.
Deep.
Yeah.
I do like him a lot. All right, let's get into that 6K range. I think there's a ton of. I did my first 5 lineups, and I was shocked that the first name that got 3 clicks out of 5 lineups was in the 6K range. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 names that I could play that I want to play in this range. No, it's not 2 gloves guy. I mean, if it's rainy and wet, at least the guy wears 2 gloves, Aaron Ryan. Yeah. But that's not the guy. Harris English, one of the shortest hitters, ended up in 3 of the first 5 lineups because I don't know. I'm just ballparking. I don't know which lineups he's in. But if I played, say, a Bryson and a Fleetwood or a Bryson and a Minwoo Lee, going down to Harris English at 6,800 helped balance that lineup out massively for me.
I thought his ownership would be way higher than it is because you hear it seems like every podcast is talking about him.
But right now he's sitting in that 8-9% range.
Yeah. He played well last week too.
Yeah, and he's a veteran. I mean, he's not scared of the moment. He's never won a major, but he knows what he's doing around golf courses. You know what I mean? So
one of the shortest guys on tour, but does well in long courses. Like he's just weird.
He's played the Wells Fargo 1, 2, 3, 4.
Never missed a cut here.
He's never missed a cut at this course here. I want to see in 17. He didn't play the PGA in 17, so he's never actually missed a cut at this course. So good thing there. I love Harris English this week, Steven. Where are you going, Steven, in the 6K range to start?
I have 2 names who I really like. Keith Mitchell is one of them. Just
very
current
chalky
form.
Week, I think.
Yeah, but I'm okay with Chalky at what is he, 62? Yeah, I'm okay with Chalky at 6,200 if that's going to be able to get me multiple guys, up there. But another one, David Puig from Live, bomber and can putt. 2 things that you need, and I think I can't imagine what his ownership is going to be. I like Harris English too.
Oh.
It's actually been really bad the last couple weeks. I mean, he was really good on Live for a stretch. His last couple of weeks were 20th, 13th, and 14th, which out of 21-person fields is not that great. But, anyway. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't like the Live guys in this range. Go ahead, Jason.
So one guy, he's actually 7,000, but we'll put him in this range. Thomas Dietrich. I just feel like he seems underpriced to me. So I like him. I'll cheat a little bit and include him in there. But I just feel like I don't love him.
He won earlier this year, and he's kind of disappeared since that win.
Yeah, he did. But I like him a lot this week. I think Aaron Rye. Don't sleep on Aaron Rye, your boy.
No, I love him.
I also wonder. I kind of have been doing a deep dive on Denny McCarthy. He's obviously not good off the tee at all, but he's a great putter, and like he just seems to do well in these longer courses with in tough fields. So I'm thinking about Denny McCarthy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm in on him.
I like that. Denny's on my list. I mean, he hasn't made the cut in my 5 lineups so far, but I do like Denny McCarthy. I love Aaron Rye. That was another one of my free bets, 170 to 1. I don't think it's going to hit, but a free bet, 171. I like Aaron Rye. I'm going to throw a couple more names your way. JJ Spawn, from his play at the PGA or the Players Championship. I know he hasn't been that great since the PGA Championship, but going toe-to-toe with Rory, of course it's going to knock you down for a little bit. Missed the cut to Houston, then 50th at the Masters, then 42nd, then 17th last week. So he's slowly rounding back into form, and again, was really close. So I like that. Rico Hoy, I like him a little bit this week. And I hated him. When you guys brought him up a few weeks ago, I hated him.
I know.
And he proved me wrong. And he's in this field in his last 4 events, 6th, 4th, 5th, and 32nd. And that's Bud Cauley. I think Bud Cauley is, if you need to, you're talking 6,200 here. You're not looking for a guy to win the event, Jason. I see that face.
Make the cut.
That you're making.
Just make the cut.
No, you'll want him to make the cut, Bud Cauley.
I considered it too. I'm still considering it.
He's in 1 lineup out of 5 so far. So, use that with what you will. I'd rather, no offense to Steven, Keith Mitchell 15%, Bud Cauley at 10%. I'll take Bud Cauley at 5% less ownership, same exact price.
I think Keith could go get you a top 10, top 15 at 6,200, where Bud's going to get you maybe a made cut, but drop you back down to in the 50s and 60s.
Ooh. It smells like a bet to me.
Interesting. All right. 5K range. Any names you guys like? I already threw. I'm not betting anymore. I'm already tapped out betting wise. I got no money left this week. and I haven't had a profitable week in 7 weeks.
I meant like between you guys.
Yeah. 5K range. We mentioned Tom Hoagie's name. Any names, Jason, that you like in the 5K range? Because there are some golfers in the 5K range.
There's not a lot in this range that I like, to be honest with you. Sam Stevens is interesting to me. I just feel like he kind of sets up for the scores, like the way he bombs it off the tee and he can putt. So I'd say Sam Stevens is probably my favorite. Hoagie is interesting, but I think he's going to be massive chalk. But not a lot.
Now, he's only projected about like 6% right now.
Which I'm shocked by that.
Gary Woodland's going up to 10%, and he's in that range, and he's got higher. People love him, Gary Woodland, and he does drive the ball a ton, but you kind of got to stay away from him, right?
It's not the same anymore.
No. Steven, any names down here that you like?
Yeah, I got a couple. I like I like Sam Stevens too.
Michael Block.
And my guy, Valimaki. I like the way he can putt, from 15 plus. That's going to be, another bomber from Liv, Tom McKibben, and he's accurate off the tee. But who I really, really like, I'm big on home course guys, Mac Hughes. This is home course. He was second last week at the Myrtle, third at RBC. He's in decent form. He can putt his butt off. So he can be one of those guys who doesn't really, kill it with distance, but he'll kill you everywhere else.
I thought he would
every other category.
I thought
I totally forgot about the Myrtle. Who even won the Myrtle Beach event?
Ryan Fox.
One flight Myrtle. Who won?
Ryan Fox. He chipped in.
Ryan Fox. Yeah, playoff.
Totally forgot about that there.
He beat Mac Hughes.
Oh, there you go. All right. I'm going to give you two more names in this 5K range. And one of these names, I'm going to give credit. I don't even know who he is. Len Hochberg. We love Len Hochberg, 3-time DFS Writer of the Year. When he mentioned somebody in the cheap range, I consider it. He has only played once in his life on the PGA Tour, but he's tearing up the Korn Ferry Tour right now. And will definitely, I think he's already earned his PGA card, or at least whatever that like fringe PGA card is. Like you're not in every event, but you're in a lot of the secondary events and all. John Kiefer at 5,300. I don't love him. Len loves him, so he's on my list and might make one lineup. And guys, we can't forget, we gotta bring in the blockheads this week. The blockheads are back, baby. No, I don't like Michael Block this week. Not at all like Michael Block.
He's not even.
I was just gonna ask Steve a question because he always has like this really random person that he likes. Who of the club pros do you like the most this week, Steve?
I would definitely Block. I mean, the guy is proven. This is a course where you gotta be proven. And I think those guys have to have their own competition, right? Amongst each other.
Some sort of friendly wager, I'm sure.
I just want you to know,
just make
right
the cut
now on Fantasy National, actual Fantasy National lineup generator percentage used. Michael Block. I'm gonna throw out the number. Over or under 1% ownership usage right now?
Over.
Nope.
Really?
Guess how many lineup generators he's been used in?
0.
0.0%.
Asshole. Yeah.
$100 more than Phil.
Why is he an asshole, man? He took advantage of his 15 minutes of fame.
But he was arrogant. He was so damn arrogant about it.
Oh, man, when he got invited to the next tournament, he's crying at his kitchen table. I love it.
I put Steve on the spot there, which wasn't fair. I just figured that he had like remember Jesper Svensson when you named him and we were like, who? I just figured he had some like random guy that was like, oh yeah, this guy's from Milwaukee. He's awesome. We really like him. So that was my fault.
All right, let's get
into Højgaards. Do you guys like any of the Højgaard brothers?
They're not on my board. Couldn't even tell you where they're at. So
they're in the 6K range. That's why I was wondering.
Who's the better brother? That's my question for you.
Hold on. Are they even brothers? We found out the Svensons were brothers last week. So
they play the exact same.
The world's ending right now.
They swing the exact same.
This week on Maury.
Yeah, this week on Maury. You are not the father of that child.
You're not the father.
All right, let's get to business at hand. Last week, the one and dones. No real movement. I had Jordan Spieth. I forget who you guys had, but the numbers pretty much stayed the same distance there. I still got a nice little lead. But I will say I broke Jason's 5-week winning streak and tied him up with 6 DFS lines. We're going to have to get Rashad on next week so he can give the guests a chance to get on the board here. That's a hint, Rashad. If you want to come on next week. But this is where the chart is for the week amongst us. So let's build some DFS lineups for this. And guys, if you want to join our DFS contest, in the description, it's $3 to enter on DraftKings. You can see if you can build a lineup better than the lineups that Jason, Steve, and I are going to build right now.
So you're going to pick the order this week, my friend.
Yes, I am going to pick the order, and it is going to go right in the order on the screen. Steven's going to go first. Jason's going to go second, and I love going third. So I am going third here. I seem to have my most success when I'm in the third spot here, and I love to brag, and that's all that matters. So I'm going to go third. So, Steven, you get to go first here with this lineup.
All right, I'm going to go with who's going to win it, and that's Rory.
Rory!
Doggy.
Look at that.
I got my own personal Grand Slam I'm going for with Rory here.
There you go. There you go.
Who's going to finish second? I'm going to go Thomas Detry.
Detry. You're going the cheap way right off the bat. I like that. All right, I'm just going to take my two favorite plays this week so you guys can't steal them from me. And I'm going to go Bryson, who's going to win, and I'm going to go Patrick Reed.
Wow.
So, yeah, because I just want to be able to beat you guys. It's still – look, I just want Bryson and Patrick Reed, 11-5 and 8,100. I still got 7,600 on the board. So there's still plenty of maneuverability for people building lineups to take these top guys right now.
I threw myself off with my first pick. I don't know.
Who goes like you didn't have to worry about me or Steven taking Thomas Detry.
I
You're
just
gonna
got
save that for the end.
I just got excited. I'm gonna go Keegan.
Keegan. Captain America right there, Keegan Bradley.
All right, I'm going to go Mackenzie Hughes.
Okay.
And Keith Mitchell.
Keith.
Money where my mouth is.
Wow.
Like it. Not really, but I like it.
I had a weird feeling about him this week. I'm gonna go Justin Thomas.
JT. I don't. It's not that I have a weird feeling about him. Like, he's won 2 PGA championships. Is he going to win 3? Like, maybe I'll feel differently about him come U.S. Open. Like, is it weird to, like, real quick, just pause for a second? Like, is it weird to, like, think that certain guys could only win so many events in a year, or so many guys can win so many of a specific tournament? Like that's the reason why I'm off of JT is, like, makes no scientific sense. Like, because everything says he should be able to win this.
Makes sense.
But he's won 2 PGAs. Is he really going to win a third anytime soon? Like,
shit, that's funny.
I don't know. Like, does it make sense what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like,
no, it does.
Oh, absolutely. I like how he bounced back from his win, though. It's not like he was satisfied with just a win. I think guys who win and get that paycheck and then go out there and are fine with, T27s and T36s for the rest of the season, I don't think JT is that type of golfer.
Yeah.
Steve, who was the second pick? Sorry, you picked Hughes, and then who was the second one?
Keith Mitchell.
Okay. All right, so I'm on the board, and I'm going to go with Akshay Bhatia first and Daniel Berger second.
Berger. I'm going to go Corey Connors with my pick.
I'm going to go with where is he? We talked about him. I'm going to go with Min Woo.
I do like Min Woo.
And you took my guy. I'm going to play him. I'm going to go Max Homa.
Max Homa.
I like it. I'm
going to go Xander.
You got a lineup with JT and Xander in it, and it still looks pretty damn good. Yep. I'm sorry, I missed your last pick. After JT, who'd you have?
Corey Connors.
Corey Connors. Gotcha. That's what I thought. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to balance this lineup out here because Min-Woo Lee and Corey Connors were going to be the two guys I take. So just got to figure this out here real quick. All right, we'll go Shane Lowry.
Nice
with my next pick, and that leaves me with 6K. So that means Tom Hoagie's my final pick. I don't love it, but I got to go with it.
Did you have anything left over?
I kind of backed myself into a corner there with only
I
6K
know.
left there.
I kind of fucked myself too.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to.
It happens sometimes in these kind of contests.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got Bryson, I got Reed, I got Pataya, Berger, Lowry, but then stuck with Hoagie. That's a second Hoagie click for me in 6 lineups. I don't like that, but
I'm gonna go Harry English. So
Harry
my team is Detry, Keegan, Justin Thomas, Corey Connors, Xander, and English.
I like it. I actually like that. That it seems like a lineup. The only name that's not on my list that you used there was Dietrich. So, I like it.
Jason has been on Dietrich a lot too. There's been other times where you've gone.
Breaking news. Rashad will be there. I just got to have a yellow peanut M&Ms. Do I have to pick all the green ones out? So you only get yellow peanut M&Ms and Coca-Cola at exactly 29 degrees. What are you, James Bond, knowing exactly like the temperature something's supposed to be out here? Seriously. All right, your final pick, Steven?
I'm going to go with Victor Hovland.
Vic. All right. Vic, it is. All right, so who's up on the one and done? Who's naming their one and done first?
Who's the worst one and done player in the history of one and done?
I don't know.
You're looking at him.
Yeah. Is that you?
Yeah. I'm going to go Rory.
Rory. You haven't used Rory yet? Wow.
Well, did I use Rory? That's the question.
Wait, I think you did.
I don't track yours. I just track mine.
I might have already used him.
I haven't used Rory either, honestly.
Hold on. I might have.
Yeah, Jason, you used him
no, fuck it.
In like the middle of the season.
All right, I'll go Bryson. Did I use Bryson?
Bryson is no.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not tracking
Rom.
yours.
All right.
You used Rom for the Masters.
Yep. All right. Steven, who you going with?
Tried to cheat.
I am going to go with
Hoagie.
Rory.
And I'm going Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed. Wow.
I'm a Patrick Reed guy this week.
Yeah.
I got him 90-1. His numbers come down significantly since then. My bets this week are Bryson, which is literally, I think he's like 60% on my budget this week went on Bryson at 12-1. I think the best you could find is like 7 or 8-1 now. I got free bets on Rye and Berger, 120 and 170-1. I got a Spieth bet because I'm a sucker for Spieth completing the Grand Slam at 60-1. Hovland 45-1. And I know we talked bad about Cantley, and then I just looked at my notes and I bet Patrick Cantley too. Sorry.
Hey,
45-1. I just trash talk Patrick Cantley, and there's a 45-1 bet with my name next to it.
Steve, who was your last pick in the overall?
Victor Hovland.
Okay. Got it.
You guys got any bets that you want to announce? I do have one other parlay. I'll announce that in a second. But Jason, what's your card again? I know you were struggling with your card and you wanted to go one or two bullets only.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I went Bryson plus 950, which hurt my feelings that I didn't get him at like 18. I went JT at 20-1. I went Hovland at 45-1. I went Brooks 45-1, which is just kind of he's a good PGA guy. And then I threw in one long shot, Akshay at 150-1.
Yeah, I'll throw this out there. They got people that want to bet Brooks or Rory. If you're on Fanatics Sportsbook, you could buy boosts now. With you like crowns or on DraftKings, you earn Fanatics bucks to use towards like merchandise from the Fanatics website, like Eagles jerseys, Saquon Barkley jerseys, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just saying, you might want a Saquon Barkley jersey to match your son.
That's right.
But you could also use those Fanatics dollars to buy boosts. So if you wanted to buy a 25% boost on Bryson or Rory, it only costs 95 cents, and you get 25% boosted on them. So it's another reason to sign up for Fanatics Sportsbook. It's kind of pretty cool there. Steven, what's your sports bets look like this week?
I got Rory 5-1. Bryson 12-1, JT 22-1, Decky 40-1, and Patrick Reed 80-1, and then Homa 200-1. Just because why not?
I like Decky this week. We didn't really talk about him, but I like.
Yeah, Hidecki's on my card.
I made all these.
He's already in a lineup for me, so I do like Hideki. I'm actually thinking I have like $3 or $4 left in that I could have used this week. I might go throw a bet on Max Homa. I very well might do that. I have one top 20 parlay. I won't call it the pizza parlay, but all three of these people finishing top 20, and it pays almost 47-1. Victor Hovland, top 20. Patrick Reed, top 20. Daniel Berger, top 20. It's 46.87. 46.87 to 1. Every $10 pays. I didn't bet $10 on it. I'm not that big of a bettor or anything like that. But every $10 on it pays out about $470. So it's a pretty good bet there. I like that. Hovland, Reed, Berger, top 20.
So DraftKings and bets aside, who do you guys think wins this week?
Bryson.
Rory. I think he is going to be able to do something that a lot of people we're all going to be able to talk about for a lot
Here's
of
a question, Steven, and to you, Jason, as well. If Rory wins the PGA Championship, will he then go into the next major, the U.S. Open, as the top DraftKings price and the best odds to win the U.S. Open?
He should.
I kind of feel like he should already have better. He should already be. I think he should be priced higher than Scottie and have lower odds than Scottie.
Where are they apart? They're like $1,200.
I think he should be closer for sure.
That's a crime that he's that much cheaper than Scottie.
I think if they want to have fun with it, make them like $100 apart from each other and make people really figure out who they're going to play on. Because I think Scottie's got a better chance at the next two majors than what he has this week.
Interesting. And Jason, you didn't answer your own question. Who's winning?
Justin Thomas.
Just because I just said he's not winning a third.
No. I was debating between who I was going to say between him and Scottie. So Justin Thomas.
There you go. All right, guys. Again, you can join the DFS contest linked below. You can sign up for Fanatic Sports Pick down below. We'll be back next week. Obviously, it looks like I just told Rashad that he's coming on. So we'll see if the guests can beat us up next week or not. It's going to be a fun week. I'm really excited for the PGA Championship this week. I think it's going to be a great event. I love when majors are on the East Coast and they line up with my daily routine, like on like the Open Championship or when these major events are in California or something like that. Love when they line up with my daily routine and stuff like that.
7 a.m.
We're going to do a little watch party or no?
We are. I'm thinking about the watch. I got to check my work schedule at the pizza shop, but I want to do a watch party on Sunday.
My kids got football at 2, but I'll be back by like 3:30. So
let's see what kind of. I got a lot of things going on this week.
Yeah,
I've got
to be determined.
I got schedule release party tomorrow night on this channel. I've got golf outings on Thursday and Monday to play in myself. So let's I've been recruited to be a ringer for a few people in golf outings. So little they know I suck ass at golf, but
hopefully you don't have to walk.
So wait, are you doing trending on Thursday and Friday?
I'm not doing trending on Thursday. I tee off at 9 a.m. on Thursday, but I'll be doing trending on Friday for sure.
Oh, because the Rory, Xander, and Scottie.
You subscribe, and that's when you won't miss out on any of the shows if we go live on Sunday for a watch party. So make sure you guys make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this out. If you're watching this on replay, we check all the comments. Well, I check all the comments, and we'll respond to y'all on the YouTube page and Jason as well on the Twitter page. So, guys, everybody have a great day, great night. Enjoy the PGA Championship. For Jason Sullivan, for Steven Fuentes, I'm Phil Stiefel. Y'all have a great night. And bubbles up.